approval of the minutes for the October 14th, 25. I require a motion to approve.
So moved.
Sean, thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Jessica. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Lisa.
Minutes approved. Okay. Number 3, items for review and possible action. First one up, A, is the overnight field trip, Flood Middle School Debate Team, Boston Debate League. That ought to be interesting.
Yeah, so that's me. You guys might remember me from a few months ago. I asked for permission to go to Washington, D.C. We actually just got back from that trip late Sunday night, and we did quite well, considering. It was a new form of debate that my students aren't familiar with. We do parley, they were doing policy, and they prepared for policy, but it's incredibly different. And they were also debating against varsity 11th graders because the novice division was cut last minute. So even considering that, they still, both of my teams won 3 out of their 6 rounds of debate, which I was incredibly proud of them.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So we're looking to do that again in Boston. Boston has assured me that they do in fact have a novice division. But we would be going up March 6th via Amtrak to Boston. We'd be staying at the recommended hotels. It's going to be, I mean, if you review the 2 applications side by side, if I'm being honest, it's a lot of copying and pasting. It's basically the exact same trip, just we're going north instead of south this time. And that's about it. Are there questions?
Does anybody have questions or concerns? Okay.
We stayed safe in Washington, so
Well,
we're planning on
that's
doing
good.
that again.
That's good. There's no fundraising or anything like that?
No, it's completely paid for by a state grant. So students don't have to pay anything, staff doesn't have to pay anything, nothing comes from the school.
Same group of kids?
We might be taking 6, where to DC we took 4. So it's a possibility of up to 6 since we have a little bit more money. We are conservative at first and we're going to be spending a little bit
Do
more.
all 6 debate?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's teams of 2 for policy debate. They debate 3 rounds on the affirmative side and then 3 rounds on the negative side.
Who wins?
Whoever's better, I guess. Generally flood students.
I don't know if I asked this last time, but do they video that at all?
They don't.
Great
We
to see.
do have periodic exhibition debates, but for the most part, it's kind of a, unfortunately, behind closed doors event,
Okay.
which
It would just be interesting to see, that's all.
it would, yeah, it would. I agree. I wish it were more in front of people.
I think you asked that. Do we
did.
have it here?
What do you mean?
In school, do we do, when they do the debates, maybe we could?
Yeah, so
Taped so
we
that we
actually
can-
just had a debate at Flood today. Some students from High Horizons came over to debate some of my students. We lost, but that's okay. They should have won. It was a really good
It'd be
match.
nice if it was videotaped so we could see it.
Wouldn't that have been nice if I had thought ahead a little bit? But I'll keep people abreast whenever we have other debates that are open to the public. And then, right, like our regular tournaments, it's once every 5 or 6 weeks.
Oh, okay.
And that's unfortunately also behind closed doors.
Excellent, okay. No anybody have any other questions? All right, then I need a roll call vote yeah, I'm getting to that. I'm gonna need a motion, but it's gonna be a roll call vote in regard to sending it to the Board of Education with an approval. So, starting with Jessica?
Do you want a motion? Make a
Yes.
motion? I can make a motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Tori? Okay. And we'll start with you.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm a yes.
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 Okay. It's unanimous. We'll send it to the Board of Education with a full approval. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Take care.
Thank you.
All over.
Okay, next up, the computer science curriculum. Ms. Rosenberg and Ms. Ayers.
Ms. Ayers is here. Katie,
Sorry, I apologize. I had a meeting across town. I didn't mean to come in late.
So I'm giving you just a document. I know this wasn't part of the board packet, but I figured this is kind of a comparative because last year I came before you to request pretty much a written curriculum that these two, Katie and Ms. Shang at the Flood Middle School, were going to implement, and along the way, basically try and review it and provide feedback. So they definitely, I'm very thankful because they definitely applied it, gave some feedback, worked through this, and now we have what we feel is a pretty comprehensive curriculum for our middle schoolers. So the left-hand column, I'll just walk you through kind of, the initial drafted curriculum, which I presented a year ago to you at the beginning of the school year, and then some of the revisions that were made to that. The two documents that were sent to you prior to this meeting are pretty much what Katie and Sarah had worked on, and right now we're looking to put it into the Atlas platform. So they did this by hand, if you will, on paper, and now we're going to transfer it onto Atlas after this. So the initial one, where we titled the computer science course as Computer Science Discoveries, which is taken straight out of code.org. The new title, as you can see, is Computer Science Foundations with Google and code.org in it. Overall structure, left-hand side, the original was a full year course that was recommended through code.org. We obviously discovered that we see our kids pretty much half a semester, so we had to pare it down. So now it's a 20-week semester where we're going to blend in digital literacy and then some of the core computer science programming. New additions, we did add a new unit, which again, they discovered that we needed to explore Google Workspace. There were some assumptions, as I state down below, that we thought our kids were familiar with Google, but come to find out, Kate and Sarah were like, listen, we have to at least figure out a way to expose them initially to the Google Workspace, and then they're able to move through the rest of the units. Instructional focus, again, code.org suggests coding, algorithms, data web development, design process, all that is lovely for a full year course, but realizing where our kids are, we felt that it encompasses digital literacy for the new course, some computational thinking, obviously, and coding and design. Kate, step in if I miss a beat here.
Nope, that's
okay. Unit sequence changed again, driven by the condensed semester. So we have now, as opposed to 7 units that was originally proposed, we're pretty much down to about 4 units. And then again, we have to consider some of the vacation days and so forth too. So the pacing duration for the old was designed for a full academic year. Again, 20-week semester model. Original unit, minimal focus is, again, assuming a prior knowledge that the kids already have. So therefore, we talked about, possibly look at K-5. Right now, I know Dr. Eckler is working with the digital literacy, so hopefully her work will then transfer into what 7th grade has to offer. But when they get to 7th grade, you have now explicit instruction in the Google tools, file management, some collaborative work, and highlighting more of the digital citizenship in here too. Coding exposure, jumped right too fast in coding. I know, having worked with Afton, I know a group of kids that are very familiar, but 80% of our students are not fully familiar. And so we made a lot of assumptions there on the old curriculum. So this is then, thinking through this, we're now going to introduce it slowly, especially after our students master the digital literacy, so we find it to be more of a mid-semester thing. That's pretty much the sweet spot, unless, Katie and Sarah, I think you guys pretty much recognize if we don't kind of do the prerequisite work, they're not going to be able to truly jump into what coding looks like. Traditional unit for the old one, and then the new one, as far as assessments are concerned, we built in mini projects, a lot more performance-based assessments. There's some items within code.org that we thought were really good with hands-on, but we also recognize that it doesn't fully have to be always on the screen. So we're sensitive to that. And so these two ladies pretty much try to source more hands-on activities that will be related to what they need to know within the unit themselves. Equity and access, again, general language for differentiation. We're building in more explicit multilingual accessibility supports. Obviously, Google Translate's in there. Voice typing, visuals, considering all some possible challenges kids may have. We're figuring out ways to help scaffold that too. And then on the back, just a few more items. So interdisciplinary is obviously the goal, ultimately. The code.org curriculum gives you an option if you want to teach some items related to ELA, math, science. Katie's got an ELA background, which was great. She was able to at least help integrate some of those connections across all the subjects, really. And Sarah, too, since she used to be a library reader specialist, so she saw pretty much a range. So we're happy with the fact that we're able to continuously integrate those other subject areas within this unit. Change the sequence very much. I appreciate, like I said, it's very teacher-driven, using some of the assessments that we are implementing, so that along the way, if we do need to modify and so forth, especially in the spring, we're looking to see how did this year go with this new one. And if need be, we'll have to make minor tweaks and adjustments. And I know Kate and Sarah, you guys have already proposed some other areas that we can kind of enhance too. And really, the ultimate goal was to try to balance that digital literacy knowledge, put in some of that coding, highlighting the Portrait of Graduate competencies, and also ensuring that we have CT readiness skills in there as well too, where the old curriculum did not do any of that at all. So those are some of just the things that, minor tweaks but big impact for sure. And like I said, I really appreciate Katie and Sarah. Katie, if you want to add anything else that you noticed, but like I said before, I think this is a more comprehensive curriculum to move forward. And then we're looking to see, how can we scale this up into 8th grade. We have PLTW in the 8th grade. That in itself right now is a very comprehensive curriculum. And so those two teachers are also kind of looking at the alignment and seeing how we prepare now when we go into the high school, because we also have an even more comprehensive PLTW curriculum up there too. So I think this is on the right track. This lays somewhat of the foundation, transfer knowledge into 8th grade and so on. So thoughts, I know I went really fast, so I apologize.
Can I just ask, when you say it's a 20-week semester, do you mean they're running it twice a year?
Yes. Yeah, they get a whole set of new kiddos in the spring.
I wasn't sure if you were saying it was
Yeah.
stretched.
We were really aggressive last year. We're thinking that the full year course
Would fit in a semester?
Yeah.
Got it, okay.
Well, it was good to see what they offered, because then we could decide which units were most appropriate for the 12-year-olds, so that worked out good.
Yeah. So right now it seems we got some, pretty good feedback from the kids too last year. So hopefully, again, we're going to try to track the feedback as well, because obviously we're student-centered and student-driven too. So, but I feel good. I know Katie and Sarah feel good about this one moving into this year. And I think at this point, it's really a matter of whether the board approves it as our curriculum.
Any questions?
I have one more question.
Sure.
Which kids take this? Does everyone take it?
Every 7th grader, yes, but take a semester.
And then, so if kids come in with coding knowledge, what do you do with them?
So code.org is awesome because it offers ways to advance. So there's like tiered levels. So if I see that a kid already comes in, they know Scratch, they know block coding, like I can send them on their way with that. So they're doing the same thing that all the kids are doing, except on another level. There's also, they're working on modifications too. So if they're struggling with the concept or coding, there's like shortcuts, they call it, that you could take. So they have like both ways. But .org is really good, really thorough.
Is it typically block coding for everybody, or it goes beyond that to like?
Well, they
Python?
start with it's like Ms. Rosenberg said, like you don't want to jump right into that because it can be intimidating if they haven't been exposed. So we do coding with HTML, which nobody really does unless you go into a computer science field, but it is the very basic blocks of coding, and it shows them how they can control what comes up, and then later on after that we get to the block coding.
I have a question. This revision of this curriculum itself, is it ongoing changes, or
I
is this
mean-
gonna be?
No curriculum should be stagnant, and because technology advances so quickly that we're looking for it to obviously tweak minor things here and there, but the frame, the core of it should be, especially in 7th grade, this is the foundation of, because we're looking at what they deal with in the high school level too. And then also with Athens' question about Scratch, we also are considering adding Python, because that's a higher level of coding too. So those are some feedback from the high schools that we're hearing to see how that could be integrated. But as back to your point, Terry, it's one of those, like any curriculum, if the system changes, we have to change with it. We have to evolve.
Especially with computer science.
Exactly.
It's a living
Yep.
option.
And that's the best part about Atlas, is that you can modify and update those resources constantly.
I would say too, I mean, our district is constantly moving forward, and now that we have the technology integration specialist, getting all the kids on the same page for Google might not have to be necessary. And then Code.org has AI units, like there's other things that we can bring in when they've evolved. So, I mean, for now it will be the same, but
Right, so this is something that is not gonna always, it's gonna be changing all the time because technology does that. But it's not like other curriculums where you have to like kind of rewrite and everything else. This is just something that is constantly modified. Okay.
And these, Sarah and Katie work really well together. I mean, they sat down and really dissected this.
Right, because
So-
I know every 6 months, you might as well
don't get me
keep
started.
going. Yes. Then they're
And I get a phone call every month. Like, Sam, we might need to tweak this one.
Right, especially with everything that's coming out.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
We
That's
thank you for your patience too, understanding that. We're not trying to make it difficult.
No, I've been there, I've done coding, so thanks. And as I said, I'm still learning, and I've been doing this since 1976. Does anybody else have any questions? Concerns? Okay, because I know AI is a big issue coming up, and that's something that you'll have to keep, on top of.
And we have a policy for that too.
Yes.
Policy to adjust.
And then that will adjust too.
Task force.
We're on it.
Okay. All right. We're going to have a motion to send this up to the Board of Education. Does Katie make the motion? Would like to second? On this? Okay, thank you very much. Roll call vote, and I'll start with Lisa.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 Okay, unanimous. Then we will send it up with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you for all the hard work, because this is definitely a lot of work. Okay. Next, 4 items for information.
Well, I'm going to have Dr. Khan do all the work. But we wanted to really give you guys an update of what we're doing with math. In particular, we've spent a lot of time over the years with the new science of reading, discussing literacy and all the work that went into it. So we really made a conscious effort this year to really put math at the forefront. And so we thought it'd just be nice to give you an update. So I'll let Dr. Khan take over. And
Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you. And Jess is here too. She's one of our staff, so she can chime in as well.
One, if you could just go to the next slide, I'll start from there and just give you an overview of what our team did last year with STEM. Well, we really looked at, the grade level standards for math and really looked specifically at the domains which are reported out by our program, iReady. And we built this math staircase in the department that allows for teachers to really look at student learning by progress monitoring them and where they're at and make sure that they're at grade level standards or at least progressing towards grade level standards. We looked at our scope and sequence, again, making sure that it aligns with the state standards. At the end of last year, we embedded specific smarter balanced IABs performance tasks so that students can get practice across the district with consistency on those tasks that are aligned within the scope and sequence. And we wanted to be really intentional about when they're doing that practice, because you can use those for whole group instruction, where the teacher can really go through what those questions are asking, how they're being asked, and really guide students on learning how to answer them or break it down. And then being able to also practice individually on their own as it comes closer and closer to test taking time. On the science end, we really looked at, again, the grade level standards for both the K-5 mystery science curriculum as well as the 6th grade open science curriculum, which falls under the middle school bands. So we actually did a PD amongst the STEM interventionists and really looked at the science practices because we wanted to align that with the report card work that we were doing as well. And what it allowed us to do as a team is to really identify what skills students need when they're receiving grade level content, and how we can band it so that they're progressing along those skills and those practices in a way that leads right up to secondary, being middle school and high school. The middle school uses Open SciEd, and then the high school has actually written their own curriculum that was very well aligned to NGSS of the Open SciEd model. I mentioned the social studies curriculum here because the social studies and science are taught opposite each other, and a lot of the skills that students need to be able to be successful in science actually overlap with the social studies inquiry skills. So therefore, we really looked at that at the K-6 level, and it aligns well not just with the content, but also when reporting out to parents in the report card. And then if we go to the next slide, this kind of summarizes for you what we did when we really looked at supporting teachers and finding another tool for teachers to be able to progress monitor their students, not just with the actual content, but what skills their students need to know as they're progressing within their grade, and what skills they need to know prior to coming into their grade, so scaffold that learning if that's needed, and what skills they need in order to be able to be successful by the end of the year and have a great start for the next school year. So each of these blue things, the teachers can go right into it and click onto that, and it takes them right to a document. So the first one is the domain document, and it's organized by domain. So as you saw in the staircase, some domains are just for kindergarten, right? Some, like the counting and cardinality, is just for kindergarten. So kindergarten students can go right into that and look at what skills it is that my students need to know. Sorry. And then, so those are all those standards. If you go to any other domain, it also gives it to you by grade. So here, if we're looking at measurement and data, a teacher, a second grade teacher can go in and know these are the skills that my student needs to know. However, if there's any scaffolding needed, if there's any prereq skills that we need to help the student with, they have this to help them progress monitor and support their students' individual needs. The other, if you go back to the math staircase and click on to the second one, this we did it by instructional skills and really for teachers at their grade level to go in and look at the progression by skills and also see all the domains that they have to cover for that grade level. So some really kind of quick ways for teachers to maybe even use when they're setting goals for their kids, for teams of educators and school leaders to look at to set goals during MTSS, or even to talk about when they're in data teams. So really focusing on not just where the student should be at that grade level, but how do we get that student there by setting those specific goals. And if you can click on, so it's just like user friendly, you click right into them if you want, and then and it takes you right to the document that they're looking for.
So it's the same information in several different ways.
Right.
depending on what they're
We were
looking for.
trying to complement what Hill gave in literacy. You know, everything was like accessible, like in a staircase. We were trying to do the same for math, so that teachers feel like, you know, there's some type of consistency across content areas. And then the next slide just gives you an update of what we've done so far this school year. We really, as a team, have been focusing on supporting teachers with, you know, Tier 1 instruction, and really being able to use the data to inform their instruction in Tier 1. Not just with the math staircase, but iReady gives us a lot of reports that help teachers really hone in on the prereq skills that students need in order to get make progress with grade level content. I talked about the scope and sequence. We really are we're going to look at the data when it comes to the performance tasks, you know, as the students get on and start taking it, so we have an idea of how to adjust instruction in the classroom according to the scores based on that. We've really focused on some district-wide PDs that strengthen Tier 1 instruction. We've done 4 altogether, K-6, and all teachers have received at least 2 of those 4 district-wide PDs. Our new teachers and new to math teachers have received at least 3 of those district-wide PDs. Not only did we do them as a team, but we also brought in iReady to also deliver some of that PD on different days across the district, and really just sharing some research-based strategies, you know, effective teaching pedagogy, as well as how to use iReady to really make small groups with differentiation so that students' needs are met as well. And then we've worked on the math report card, and not only is it a tool to really communicate to families where their student is at in terms of grade level and what type of growth they're making, but it's a great way to partner with families to help support Tier 1 instruction, to help work with their students as well. And on the science end, we're always looking to work with our community partners to enhance opportunities for them to come in. Math science was in at several schools already, and we already took our mystery science curriculum, K-5 curriculum, aligned it to the math science workshops so that the content that they're learning in the classroom is connected to the workshops that math science is doing. Same thing with Audubon. We have some field trips where the students go out, but it's aligned to our curriculum so that if they're out there on the field, they're bringing the learning or the data back into the classroom. We've been working on the science report card, and really, like I said earlier, we focus on the science practices and the skills. We've made a rubric for teachers that's very clear on how to assess those skills, and our next steps is going to be to make assessments for those specific practices. And the social studies report card, me and my counterpart here are going to continue collaborating to align the social studies as we work on social studies curriculum to align a lot of those resources with science resources as well once we get to that. And that's the update from STEM.
Jess or Afton, I forgot Afton's on it too. You guys want to add anything that maybe we didn't cover?
That's pretty comprehensive.
Yeah.
I think our just main focus is really, you know, kind of recentering ourselves on utilizing the core resources that we have and making sure everyone's familiar with those resources so that all kids have access to that Tier 1 instruction.
I think the adding of the last 2 years, there's been a lot of shifts in where teachers are teaching grade level wise, as well as teachers who may have departmentalized in the past and taught ELA for a long time, now also teaching math or vice versa. And so just making sure everyone is on the same page and has the same standards for our kids is really important.
Great. Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you very much. That was quite intense. I'm trying to figure out all these reports and stuff. One
One of your many
question.
tabs.
When you get all
Many
this
tabs.
together, does all the information just kind of merge?
It really does merge well.
No, I meant, so you don't have to keep clicking back
No,
and
no,
forth
we
and-
have, no, not at all. It's click, it's there, and it's all in one folder, so.
So I'm watching her click and
Yeah,
I'm like,
she's, yeah.
okay. Be nice to just
I
have it all
made
like
it back.
Sure. Thank you very much. It looks like it's a lot of work.
We're doing a lot of work,
We
the
have,
teachers are
yeah,
doing
we
a
have
lot
a
of
great
work.
team and, we're all working really hard to make sure that we support teachers and therefore teachers can support their students.
Our November PD, we focus on math.
Yes, I met a few of them. Yeah, quite a few of them. Yes, thank you very much. I mean, everybody who's on this committee, from what I have seen, has worked extremely hard and has done a lot of hard work that's really looks great going forward. And I just want to thank you all for spending the time and effort. This is not easy, but you did a great job, really. Thanks. Okay, old business, we don't have any that I'm aware of. No? Okay. We don't have any tabled items. Therefore, we're now down to a motion to adjourn. Unless you have something you want to say.
Well, just before, I know we're going to look a little different next time we meet, so I just want to acknowledge Terry's work leading us, Sean, Lisa. We appreciate the time and effort you've made to support us in all our endeavors. And you're right, I think we have accomplished a lot in the last year and 3 months.
Really, a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Another
Motion.
thing I would mention, it says that the next meeting is December 9th. The new board gets sworn in December 8th. I'm doubting you're going to be able to have a curriculum committee meeting, considering that they need to appoint a chair and committee.
All right, we can look at the calendar maybe and make an adjustment.
Perhaps maybe.
I think
not
there's
the
definitely some
December
things we wanna-
meeting, or-
I know, I think that there's some things we want to get in before the break, so I will, I'll look at the calendar and see what works.
And I would talk with your board members who will be in the meeting.
Okay.
And I would suggest anyone who is on the committee that is interested in remaining or staying on the committee, because the committee will be redone by the new board.
Right.
Who I would email.
Is that how it works even with the members?
Yeah.
Correct.
So
Okay. All right.
Members are
I
appointed
think,
by the
yeah, we're
board.
all
Everyone will
up
have
for
to
grabs.
reapply.
Except
I
the
think
two
Heather-
Except for
the
Jess
two, yeah.
and,
Oh, if you did too.
Laurel.
oh,
Right.
for the SEA representatives. They stay.
Good to know.
Is there a way to have a meeting prior to all of that,
Prior to,
the shift?
I think you require the new board members to.
We have some deadlines with regard to program of studies coming up, so I'm just,
when is the deadline?
Well, that's all happening in January.
You might want to call a special meeting of the curriculum, once the new board is in place.
Give them like more than a day.
Yeah, well, yeah.
2 days.
Hey, not
No,
my
we can-
problem,
More than a
right?
day.
We can look, I mean, that even the week, the week after, the week of the 15th, maybe something comes
So what is it, 30 days from the order?
I see there's a board orientation on the 16th.
Right.
Right.
30 days.
Yeah, 30 days.
From the organization.
Christmas Eve, maybe.
Switch over.
We can work something.
Committee.
There's a board meeting on the 22nd.
December the first week.
30 days from the end.
They get sworn in on the 8th, and then.
All right, I'll ask for some guidance with,
We would need, but
yeah.
Yeah.
do it.
Okay.
um,
So I have a
Unless you push it.
motion to adjourn, and I need a second with Afton, thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and hope you all have a great holiday.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
You too.
Afton.
It was me.
Afton.
Oh.
Afton.
Who was that first?
Sean.